What's going on, guys? My name is Agent Psycho, aka Toast number 98, and we're back with yet another episode for Combat Arms In Depth. In this episode, we'll be talking about the dominant long-range weapon class of combat arms that's oftentimes just as good at CQC as it is at killing people across the map, and of course, granted, they're in the right hands: the sniper rifles. Because I have discussed its key mechanics in my quickscoping tutorial series, this episode will be shorter than normal, hopefully. However, I will still cover all the important aspects of sniping and sniper rifles in this video. If you wish to watch my quickscoping tutorial, there will be a link down in the description linking you to the first episode. So let's get on with the rifles. Sniper rifles are obviously the highest damaging weapon class in combat arms, with the shotguns and explosives second. All snipers in combat arms deal at least 2-shot kills, though if you factor in tanking and no-regging, this may be pushed to 3 or more depending on which kind of sniper rifle you're using. But ignoring that, with the exception of the SR-25, all snipers deal at least 85 to 90 damage, with the majority of the bolt-action sniper rifles, bolt-action sniper rifles in combat arms dealing a clean 1-shot kill. Theoretically speaking, bolt-action rifles are, in fact, technically the highest DPSing weapons in the game because, well, they only require 1 bullet to knock someone down for good. Damage aside, sniper rifles are among the slowest primary weapons in the game, as sniper rifles are meant to be used in a camping fashion, at least according to Nexon. The average portability for sniper rifles is about 40, with some notable outliers, including the M107 series, which are the heaviest sniper rifle family in the game, and the MSR, which is the fastest sniper rifle in the game by far. Only machine guns and miniguns are, on average, heavier. As for rate of fire, sniper rifles aren't really known for high rate of fire. Bolt actions, due to their nature, obviously can't fire very fast, and you can spam bullets with semi-automatics or automatics, but not only is it not advised due to the fact that you can't see your sniper's hipfire spread when no-scoping, but also it makes you look like a fucking noob. The average rate of fire for bolt actions is somewhere around 10 or 12, while the rate of fire for 2-shot snipers is around 20, roughly double of that of standard bolt action rifles. There are noteworthy outliers to this as well, 2 of them being the M14 EBR and the M1866, both of which are capable of being fired almost like assault rifles. Almost. Accuracy is naturally, on average, very high for sniper rifles, all snipers having at least 90 accuracy to my knowledge. As a balancing measure, Nexon has given bolt-action rifles comparatively terrible accuracy, most notorious of which is the classic L96A1, which is widely known and proven to consistently fail at headshotting shoulder peekers. On the other hand, semi-automatics and fully automatics have higher accuracy to compensate for their weaker damage capabilities. And as well, there are notable exceptions to this rule, the most famous of which being the TPG-1, which not only has a 1-shot kill ability and very, very high accuracy at 98, but also available for GP. But once you rank up and rank up to the ranks of officers, like first lieutenant and above, you will start to find that the snipers you unlock for GP are not only bolt action, but also offer higher degrees of accuracy, largely nullifying Nexon's rule that I just mentioned a minute before. There are only 2 sniper rifles in combat arms' existence thus far that have both perfect damage and accuracy to my knowledge: the DSR-1 Tactical and the M99 Big Shot. But because the Big Shot sucks, you can ignore that. Recoil is largely the least important factor you need to consider when working with sniper rifles. Only the semi-automatics or fully automatics need such a worry, for they have the rate of fire that causes the need for worry when it comes to recoil, mainly when aiming down sights, as the recoil kickback will throw you off your aim briefly with each shot, unless you're using a sniper rifle like the SR-25. Bolt actions and slow-firing 1-shot rifles need not worry about the recoil because their rate of fire is way too slow for recoil to have any effect on the rifles. To quickly go over a list of recommended sniper rifles, the L96A1 and TPG-1 are among 2 of the best sniper rifles in the game. While the L96A1 may not excel in the accuracy department, its consistency in performance and classic feel, along with a low rank requirement, make it one of the most reliable snipers in the game, although it still suffers its fair share of tanks and other sniper mishaps. For NX users, the newly released KNT-308, the S58 musket, and the DSR-1 subsonic are all excellent snipers. For those of you interested in semi-automatics or fully automatics, my favorite recommendation is the M110 SASS, the cousin of the SR-25, with a very manageable straight-up recoil kickback when firing scoped in, very strong damage, and ability to oftentimes one-shot light vesters to the, and even maybe sometimes medium vesters to the back. The M110 SASS is, in my opinion, one of the best semi-automatic snipers in the game. My personal favorite is, if you didn't know already, is the TRGSC, though the L96A1 comes in extremely closely after that. Now that my recommendations are out of the way, let us quickly discuss the different aspects of sniper rifles and combat arms and how they can be used. Once again, these topics are also discussed in my quickscoping tutorial. No scoping. As most of you know, different sniper rifles have different hipfire spreads. Even though you can't see them, they're there. This is evident in the fact that some sniper rifles seem to no-scope better than do other snipers. In my experience, the L115 family, the M200 family, and the S58 musket all seem to no-scope very well. And my friend Tomago17 claims that the DSR family is also very good for no-scoping, but I'm not too sure about that. But maybe some of you guys will be able to testify. This is likely due to the fact that all these snipers have a smaller hipfire spread box, and thus have a higher chance of successfully hitting a no-scope. This hipfire spread also behaves like a normal spread. It changes upon movement, and it spreads out to max if you jump. Scopes. Sniper rifles and combat arms are unique in that while you can't change the kind of scope that they come with, they also come with a unique diversity in scopes in the same fashion that as assault rifles do. There's the classic L96A1 4x zoom scope, the PSG1 2x half scope, the L115 style 6x enhanced zoom scope, the M200 style chevron reticule 6x enhanced zoom scope, the S58 musket style 4x red dot scope, the unique Dragunov 4x scope, which is kind of like the M200 chevron scope, except the chevron is much larger, and it has that red dot in the middle. And the special double zoom scope, double zoom had the 2x and 8x M107 style scope. That's also shared by the TRGSC. If there are any that I've missed, then I'm sorry for missing them. These are all the ones that I can think of off the top of my head for the moment. Find the scope that most comfortably suits you, or you can be like me and not give a flying damn about what the scope looks like because you're too busy sniping people with it. One final note about scopes is that on different sniper rifles, the scope and times will be different as well. For example, the L96A1 scopes in very slowly compared to the M24, which scopes in pretty much almost instantly in comparison. Center speed. While I usually don't talk about center speeds outside my review videos, this is especially important for sniper rifles. Center speeds refer to the speeds at which different sniper rifles recover from the disturbance to their spread boxes after firing a shot. Center speeds for one-shot sniper rifles are naturally slower than they are for two-shotters. And this is important to remember because whether you are quickscoping or camping. For quickscopers, this is an issue because if your sniper spread doesn't center fast enough, your next shot will go completely somewhere else than where you pointed your scope at. For you campers, if you are using a two-shot sniper, oftentimes the center speed on your sniper will cause your bullets to hit just around your target instead of on them. This leads me to my next point, the different schools of play styles with sniper rifles in CA. You've got the quickscopers and rushers on one end, and campers on the other. Either playstyle is legitimate. Quickscoping isn't meant for everybody, so thus there will be people using snipers as they are intended. But because camping is relatively easy and anyone and their grandmother can learn how to camp, it's really that hard to sit your butt down somewhere and you're doing it right, for God's sake, jeez. We'll be discussing quickscoping. Quickscoping has several fields of discussion that we must take into consideration as a whole. First, we must talk about how snipers behave while you are scoping in. Unlike other first-person shooters where there is a smooth transition in which your character brings up the scope to view, Combat Arms doesn't have that. You actually... Oh, never mind, excuse me. Instead, it is like Soldier Front in that the scope is immediately zoomed in with no fluid transition. You can actually fire while the scope is zooming in. In other words, when the scope is in the process of zooming in, you can fire at any time and don't have to wait for the scope to fully zoom in. This helps immensely with co-scoping and with snipers whose scopes don't really zoom in very fast, like the L96A1. Another thing about quickscoping is that you must stand still in order for your shot to be accurate. As mentioned before in the center speed aspect of this video, your sniper has a center speed associated with it. If you move around, you must stay still for a split second for your center speed to return to normal. This is why sometimes your shots miss even though the crosshairs may be directly over your target. I know some of these points were repeats, but it must be emphasized. Another factor of quickscoping is a quick switching aspect. It is purely your decision to quick switch or not. Quick switching will not reset your center speed, and it is purely habit that people do this. You don't have to quick switch. In fact, for beginning quickscopers, I actually recommend that you do not try to master quick switching and instead focus on basic quickscoping first. A very good weapon to quickscope without quick switching is the Candy 308 if you have access to it. If not, the L96A1 is very good as well with its slow but steady scoping time. But if you feel you want to learn quick switching, please keep in mind that it is just out of habit that I personally quick switch. It helps me keep my quote-unquote sniping rhythm and helps me keep my aim on point on multiple targets in a row. In fact, for some snipers whose draw speeds are slower than their rate of fire, that like the DSR family and the MSR, you may want to consider foregoing quick switching so you can preserve their rates of fire. However, for the TPG-1 family, quick switching is actually beneficial, for their draw speeds are actually faster than their rates of fire. As for the quick switching techniques, I personally use the 3Q method, switching to the knife, then switching back to my sniper. In all arms games, nowadays I tend to use the 2-1 or the 2Q method, pistol switching back to sniper. You can switch however way you want, whichever is most comfortable with you. The final aspect of quickscoping I'll talk about is jump scoping. This ties in with center speed and movement aspects of sniping. Jump scoping is a very ineffective and an inefficient way of sniping, but it sure as hell looks cool and makes you look badass. But the reason why I personally jump scope is mainly at close range. This is basically for the same reason why people bunny hop, but people never complain about bunny hopping quickscoping now, do they? Trophies at JPEG. Anyways. But, seriously speaking, jump scoping at close range is sometimes effective in throwing people off and taking them out, but it is more based on your sniper's luck than anything else. Well, that will conclude the in-depth episode on the sniper rifles. I hope you have enjoyed, and I hope you have found something or learned something useful. In the next episode, I will attempt to make the first episode on machine guns and combat arms, or the next in-depth episode on machine guns in the game. So yeah, see you until then.
Hacks! 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 Hacks!